Lions, bears, no tigers, but oh my, what a week it's been in wildlife news here in Pattaya. Hello, everybody. I'm Adam. This is the Pattaya News, and we are coming to you on the 27th of January, 2024 when we film this, although you might actually watch it a few days later. So first off, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, like, and follow for regular updates here from Pattaya and Thailand. Now, why did we start out talking about lions and bears? Well, this week's top news has mostly revolved about lions here in Thailand, and specifically here in Pattaya. And it's really brought a lot of attention to wildlife laws overall and what the wildlife ownership are here in Thailand. So what I'm going to talk about today is those laws. I'm going to explain what's legal and what's not. I'm going to talk about the big stories that took place. And I'm also going to talk about the reactions to these on both English language and Thai language media. Because what really surprised many of you watching is the English-speaking community and expats had a dramatically different reaction to one of these stories than the Thai community. A polar opposite reaction, in fact. Now, the first story that took place, and is what really caused everything to go viral, was a foreign man, reportedly later a man in his early 50s from Sri Lanka, driving around in a rented, not owned, expensive Bentley convertible around Pattaya with a young white lion cub. Many people saw this happening and shot videos. One particular video from an influencer went viral, gaining millions of views on TikTok and other media platforms. So some people even set the clip, we'll put it up here, to Gangster's Paradise of the guy driving around Pattaya. He also stopped for pictures, and then it was later revealed by multiple people that reportedly this was not the first time either. So after this went viral, and it went viral not just in Thailand, not just in Pattaya, but worldwide. It ended up on BBC, it ended up on the Straits Times. It was worldwide news. Now, of course, different nations have different rules around allowing exotic pet ownership. And some Western nations, including parts of my own country, America, do allow exotic pet ownership within reason and with the proper licenses. Thailand does as well. We'll get to that a little bit later. Now, as for what happened after this video went viral, they found out that the actual owner was not the foreign man, but a Thai woman in her late 30s who had originally purchased the lions from a farm in central Thailand. And the lions were actually licensed to be held not here in Pattaya, but outside in the Ratchaburi area, evidently, according to authorities. However, were being kept, in reality, at a villa on the Pratanak Hill area. Now, according to the woman, she had just allowed her friend, because she was busy, the Sri Lankan man, to have the lion to take to a doctor's appointment. Authorities, and quite honestly, many of our people on social media, were skeptical of this claim, stating that he appeared to just be driving around for attention. And some, again, as stated, said that this was not the first time he had done this either. Now, the Sri Lankan man, once this story started to go viral, fled the country, or left the country, depending on how you look at it, and has not returned since. Authorities wanted to bring him in for various fines and charges, basically around the fact that he wasn't licensed to have that wild animal himself, and he certainly wasn't licensed to transport that wild animal in the manner it was transported. So meanwhile, those charges are going towards that Thai woman at this time. That lion, however, as of press time, has not been confiscated. Now, 2 days after that incident, what happened but another lion incident in Pattaya, in which two lions this time, and these ones about a year old, briefly escaped through a malfunctioning gate at a residence in Huayai near Pattaya. Now, they were only out for a very, very short period of time. The owners immediately managed to get them back in the house. Nobody was injured. And by all reports, these lions are extremely well fed, well taken care of. And all the neighbors said they've known about it for a while. They don't have a big problem with it. And that as these lions have been raised since they were little cubs, these particular lions were raised with two Rottweilers as well. They basically acted like dogs. However, so soon after the Bentley situation that went viral worldwide, authorities had to take action. Now, these lions were also legal, like the first situation, although there's some discrepancies in the paperwork that are being looked into. specifically discrepancies in the gender of the lions, as well as discrepancies in the microchip numbers. Now, that could just be paperwork mistakes, but authorities seeing that confiscated the 2 lions and took them to the Banglamun Wildlife Breeding Reserve just near Rayong, where they remain while the owner, a 28-year-old Thai woman, tries to seek legal custody of the lions. Authorities' biggest concern, which was concern from a lot of other people, as you can see in the footage that you're watching, is that the lions were basically too big for the area that they were living in, which is a small-ish residential home. Now, there is a backyard that wasn't featured in the photos, and the backyard has some space, but it's not appropriate for 2 lions, according to wildlife officials and according to many of our readers. Now, the owner herself said she had even been considering, before this incident, trying to sell the lions back to the farm she bought them from in central Thailand. The same farm, by the way, where the lion in the Bentley incident was also purchased from. However, she has gained a lot of sympathy on Thai media. She has a very popular TikTok and had recorded many videos with the lions. And as stated, officials said that she had taken incredible care of the lions. They were in fantastic shape and clearly had a very caring and loving owner. So, in this second situation, it's likely to see that the owner and officials reach some sort of agreement for the lions to be stored maybe at a farm or a reserve while she stays the owner. Exotic animals in Thailand come under different classes. Lions are a class 1. And although private ownership is allowed, and there's 24 private owners here in the Chonburi area, they're supposed to have appropriate space for the lions and follow various regulations such as filing the lion with the National Park Department, microchip the lions, and be basically seen by officials as somebody who is appropriate to handle the lion. Obviously, having a lion in a small villa on Pratamnak or a small residential home in Huayai is probably not an appropriate place. As stated, the owner in the second incident with the 2 lions said that when she originally bought the lions as cubs, they were so cute, which many people agreed looking at her TikTok videos, but she did not expect them to get as big as they got. Well, newsflash, lions grow, and people should always be aware of this. It's actually a big deal worldwide where people buy a pet where they're young without doing the research of just how big they can get. Then they get big, and that's when the problems set in. Now, Thailand did talk about maybe changing the laws around private ownership. We don't think that's going to happen, speaking to our editorial team here at the news. We do think, however, that they're going to enforce the rules, which there's quite a few on paper, much harder, which means regular inspections of lion owners, ensuring that they have proper cages, proper land, proper area, because prior to these 2 incidents that went viral, quite frankly, that hadn't been occurring, which is why the lions were never being checked upon and were being stored in residential areas. What do you think? Should private ownership of exotic animals like lions, tigers, and bears be allowed? Let us know. One last story. The reason we mentioned bears is because somebody that was trained up in Chiang Mai, just days after these 2 incidents, a wildlife volunteer at a Chiang Mai reserve for wild animals had part of his arm bitten off while feeding a bear. A volunteer, well-trained, had worked at this reserve for some time. So that just goes to show the potential danger that can happen from a trained volunteer, let alone a private owner. But we'll let you decide. We don't have opinions here. We want you to give us your opinions. Tell us in the comments, should private ownership of exotic animals be allowed in Thailand? Till next time, take care of yourselves and each other.